Welcome to this explainer on understanding the balance sheet produced by EasyPathUni in coordination with Yazan Ibrahim. You know, if you've ever wanted a really quick but accurate look at a company's financial health, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break this all down using simple terms, and you'll see some really clear real-world examples to show you how it all clicks together. Let's dive in.
So here is our game plan for today. We're going to start with the absolute basics, the core definition, and then we'll dissect all its different parts. After that, we'll actually put the numbers into action with a real-life transaction, we'll look at some common mistakes you'll want to avoid, and then finally, we'll zoom out to see the big picture, how the balance sheet really tells a company's financial story over time.
All right, let's jump right into section 1. What exactly is a balance sheet? I mean, think of it as the bedrock, the absolute foundation of all financial reporting. Let's get to the heart of what it really is.
Okay, at its very core, a balance sheet is like a financial photograph, and that's a really important distinction. It's not a movie showing you performance over time. That's what the income statement is for. No, this is a single, static snapshot. It freezes a company's financial position on one specific day. It tells you exactly what a business owns and what it owes at that precise moment.
And this right here, this brings us to the golden rule of accounting. You've got to remember this. Assets equals liabilities plus equity. Now, this isn't just a guideline. It is a law. It has to balance. It means that everything a company owns was paid for in one of two ways, either by borrowing money, which is your liabilities, or with money from its owners, and that's the equity. The two sides must always balance right down to the very last penny.
So now, let's actually break that equation down a bit. We're going to take a look at the three core components that make up the entire balance sheet: assets, liabilities, and of course, equity.
First up, assets. Pretty straightforward. This is everything the company owns that has value. Now, they're split into two main types based on one very simple rule. How quickly can you turn them into cash? If it's within a year, we call it a current asset. Think of things like cash itself, inventory on the shelves, or accounts receivable, which is just money that your customers owe you. If it's going to take longer than a year to turn into cash, like a factory or a big piece of equipment, it's a non-current asset.
And guess what? That exact same one-year rule applies on the other side of the equation for liabilities. That's what the company owes to others. So debts that are due within a year, those are current liabilities. A great example is accounts payable. That's money you owe to your suppliers. And debts due after 1 year, like a long-term bank loan, well, those are non-current liabilities. See? Simple.
So let's just quickly recap. These are the three pillars holding the whole thing up. Assets are what you own. Liabilities are what you owe to other people. And equity, well, that's what's left over for the owners. It's their actual stake in the company.
Okay, theory is great and all, but let's actually put this into practice. A balance sheet isn't some dusty document that just sits there. It changes with every single transaction a company makes. Let's see how accountants use it to track a business's financial journey in the real world.
One of the most common tasks is updating the equity section. So imagine a company started the year with $100,000 in retained earnings. This year, they had a good year, made a profit of $40,000, so we add that in. But they also paid $10,000 out to their shareholders as dividends, so we have to subtract that. The new balance for retained earnings is $130,000. It's as simple as that.
Okay, let's trace a real transaction from start to finish. Let's say the company needs some new equipment, so it goes out and gets a $30,000 loan to buy it. How does this one event ripple through the entire balance sheet?
Well, first, the asset side of our equation goes up. The company now owns $30,000 of new equipment. And since it's long-term equipment, it's a non-current asset. But wait, remember, the equation has to balance. So what happens on the other side?
And here's the magic. To keep that equation balanced, the other side also has to increase by $30,000. The company took out a loan, right? So its non-current liabilities go up by that exact same amount. Assets increase by $30K, liabilities increase by $30K, and the sheet stays perfectly, beautifully balanced. So understanding the mechanics, that's half the battle. For sure, but it's just as important to know about the common mistakes and pitfalls that can throw the entire statement completely off.
Here are some of the errors we see all the time. A huge one is putting revenue or expenses on the balance sheet. Nope, those belong on the income statement. Another is using the wrong labels, like saying depreciation when you mean accumulated depreciation, which tracks the total wear and tear on an asset. And honestly, even forgetting small things like the petty cash drawer can throw the whole thing out of whack.
Let's zoom in on that loan misclassification error, because this is a really common trap that people fall into. Let's say a company takes out a 5-year loan. Is it accurate to just lump the whole amount under non-current liabilities?
The answer is a big, clear no. You have to split it. The part of the loan that's due for repayment within the next 12 months, in this case that's $4,000, is a current liability. The rest of it, the $16,000 that's due after 1 year, that's the non-current liability. Doing it this way gives a much more accurate picture of the company's short-term obligations.
So, after all this work, you might be asking, what's the big payoff? Well, the real power of the balance sheet isn't in a single document. It's in what it reveals when you look at it over time.
Remember our photograph analogy from the beginning? A single photo is just a moment. But what happens when you line up a series of them? Say a balance sheet from each of the last 3 years. You start to see a story unfold. You can track growth, you can spot potential problems before they get big, you can actually see the company's financial journey. For instance, look at this. By comparing this year's balance sheet to last year's, you might see the company's cash position has jumped from $30,000 all the way up to $50,000. That's a really powerful positive signal. It tells a story of improving financial health and liquidity, which basically means it has more cash on hand to pay its bills.
And that really brings us to our final thought. The numbers on a page always tell a story. So let me leave you with this question. If a company's assets are growing, but its equity is shrinking, what does that tell you? Well, it might be a huge red flag that all that growth is being funded by debt. Learning to read these narratives is the true key to financial literacy. So the real question isn't just what's on the balance sheet, but what story are the numbers trying to tell you?